Okay, so now that we have installed Git, whether you're on a Mac or a Windows machine, the next thing we need to do is configure our name and email. So we need to tell Git who we are, who it should attribute work to on our machine. So this is not tied to an account necessarily, there's no password. You can make this whatever you want, but let me just demonstrate the significance of setting up our name. So if I'm working on a project with a bunch of people, for example, this is a project I have. I really haven't done anything sort of faking it. It's React, which is a very large JavaScript library. I'm going to just run a quick command here. And what you're looking at right now, I'll full screen this, is a log of different work, different checkpoints on this application and who did them. So here's one made by me, Colt Steele. But I can go back and see, here's some other work done by someone named Andrew Clark. And somebody else did some other work. Here's more Andrew Clark. Here's Brian Vaughn. So the point here is that, here's Dan Abramov, pretty famous developer. Anyway, the idea is that Git knows who did what work and who is making these checkpoints and these changes. So we need to configure that. So this does not have to match some account that you have somewhere else. However, I recommend that you use the name that you want to be known by as a developer if you are going to publish your work and put it up on GitHub. You want to use a name that people know you by or that will be consistent. You don't want to be changing this all the time. And then your email, I recommend configuring with the email that you'll set up for your GitHub account. If you haven't done so already, later in the course when we talk about GitHub, we can cross that bridge. And you can always reconfigure these two values. So here's how we do it. The first step, we'll do our name. So all we do is git config and then -- global. That's a way of telling Git to set our username or our user.name to be the same name across every time we use Git, every instance. But you can always change this. So git config -- global user.name, and then in quotes, the name you want Git to know you by. So I can try this right now. I'm not going to configure it. I want to show you, I can actually just check. Do you have a user.name for me already, Git? If I run this command, I'm not setting it, I'm asking. And it says, yep, you're Colt Steele. However, on my Windows side, if I do git config user.name, I haven't configured one, so it shows me nothing. So I'm going to set that now. So git config -- global user.name, and then in quotes, the name I want. So git config -- global user.name, and I'll do Colt Steele. Obviously, you should put your name there. I'm going to hit enter. We don't really see anything happen. But now if I try and retrieve it, that's what this line does. Git, what is user.name? It tells me Colt Steele, and we're good to go. Now we're going to do the same thing for email. So it's the exact same pattern, except user.email, and then provides your email address. So we'll try this. It's the same process. I'll do this on the Windows side, but whatever platform you're on, you want to do this. We'll do git config user.email. Nothing is there. But now I'm going to say git config -- global user.email, and then set it to be, this is not my real email, but colt@gmail.co. Again, not my real email, but I recommend you put an email you have access to, and especially when we sign up for a GitHub account, if you can foresee the email you would use for GitHub, I would use that email now. But we can always change it. It's the exact same line to change it. Okay? So now I can recall the line from earlier. If you don't know how to do this, hit the up arrow. I can scroll through different lines up and down, and I'm just going to verify. Did it set? And it did. Okay, so that's all we needed to do. Those two lines are going to tell Git who we are so that for future work, when we make changes, they are attributed to whatever that user.name and user.email are set to. All right.